videoing.
Oh.
Go?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so I gave a small shot in the muscle only about 7 minutes ago, and she's relaxed a little bit. So that'll help us out if she's a little relaxed. And then we have our floor dry. Dry is the big thing for this part. Dry and flat. And then we've got some toweling to put the foot on when we want to set it down if we need to for that. Although the wound isn't on the ground surface, it's not too bad. So let's zoom in here. So I've started the bandage. I recommend that you always wear gloves even when you're just like taking this bandages off. That way your hands stay cleaner. You know, you don't have to try to wash your hands in between things because the bandage is dirty in the first place.
Is this hay okay as long as I keep changing it?
Yes, that's fine. Just keep it real clean and keep it as dry as you can. And if you need some of the wood chip bedding to keep it drier, you can. That might be good in spots where she pees. Okay, so this bandage is wet. You can see it's what we expected, to have fluid from that tendon sheath come out into this bandage here. So I'll just zip this off here. Then we've got our diaper to take off. And that's pretty saturated. And then of course the wound's on the back here, so I'm going to be careful. I'm going to come off the side a little bit. And just carefully trim this loose. We have some gauze underneath of this vet wrap. But you can see, like I was saying, how you need all this bandage material to be as sterile and clean as possible because it's all wet and it's all exposed back into the wound surface potentially.
Did Denise tell you she did get out yesterday morning?
Oh, she didn't.
It was very...
Okay,
She's out
so
right back in.
we have a little protein on there, a little pink protein. That's not bad. There's a little bit of an exudate. See, there's a little bit of a slightly pussy looking exudate, which I'm not too worried about right yet because I think that's because the skin was all damaged in the first place. Now, since I still have all of this here, I'm going to set her foot down right here on this clean hay, and I'm okay with doing that right there. And then I'm going to get rid of these gloves because they're dirty gloves from taking the bandage off.
It's going to take you, what, like 5 to 10 pair of gloves to do this?
Yeah. The gloves are cheap and they're easy to throw off and on. That's what I find.
Not if you got a hand like this.
Oh, yeah. Right, that's not so easy. Now I have 4x4 gauze sheets that I keep the chlorhexidine soap in. That makes it easier for me. I'm just going to leave her stand here and start the washing process. I'm going to start washing. I need to wash this entire area. So, not just the wound, but I won't go from a dirty area to the wound. I'll just clean these outer quote-unquote dirtier areas first, and then I'll clean the wound. But see, I'm going to clean all the way around here each time we do this bandage change so we don't have bacteria hanging out here that gets transferred into that wound. That muscle shot seemed to work pretty well. She's fairly relaxed here. Now over here, this wound goes almost to the coronet band. So I really have to clean down there toward that, and on that coronet band, and on the heel. I'll start to work on the wound itself, the wound edges. Start cleaning them also while I leave that soap on the other areas, still working to disinfect those other areas. Now that's pretty sensitive. See how I touch her a little bit where she's got the cut nerve? And that's pretty sensitive, so she can't tolerate that real easily. And I'll probably have to have her foot picked up and try to really gently accomplish that. There's some parts of this wound that shouldn't be too sensitive. See where I am right now, over here toward the middle of the leg and down toward the bottom of the foot. That's where she won't feel it very much. Where she will feel it is right about where my thumb is right now, but facing up the leg. That's where the nerve ending is. That's going to be sensitive there. Yep, see right there. So I'm just going to just try to real gently get that clean.
It's okay, though. Freckles.
Good girl, I'm sorry. Good girl, Freckles. Good girl. That's a good girl. You're doing good. Okay, sweetie. Sorry, girl.
I'll take care of you.
Okay, that's our girl. Let me grab the bucket. Now I'm also, while I've got this foot up now, I'm going to do a little bit more cleaning down here, but I'm not going to take any of this toward the wound. I'll clean this hoof down here, and then I'll just throw the gauze away to the ground, away that way, never toward the wound. Good girl, good girl. Good girl, Freckles. Good girl. Sorry, girl. Sorry, girl. Good girl. Alright, sweetie. Now I'm going to set her down for a little bit. Get rid of all this out of the way. Change gloves.
Did you get on your phone what I said about that Julie? Now you probably did. I call her psychobabble.
Alright, now when I rinse, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to take dirty water into the wound, so I'm going to rinse here at the wound and let it go away. Good girl, good girl. Now we're going to try and look down into that wound and see if everything looks clean. We've got pretty clean looking surfaces. Some of them are bruised, some of them have that yellow protein that kind of looks like, paraffin wax or something. A little bit there that we can see right here. This is where our tendon sheath is open, right here where my finger is. You can see that opening there. But it looks pretty clean. It does, and looks like some of the bruising over here is starting to look a little better. I think I'll try to wash that all up a little more with chlorhexidine soap and the gauze here. I want to lightly scour those surfaces to clean them, otherwise all the yucky stuff won't be coming off of them like we need it to. So I just real slow and gentle, but I need to actually scrub it a little bit. Everywhere way down inside there. Over time, some of these areas will do better and she won't be as sensitive. And sometimes if she starts to regrow a nerve in a certain spot, that'll get more sensitive possibly too. So if that happens, sometimes we have to spray it with a topical anesthetic before we can do anything. That might not be a bad idea for you to do, is we'll have some topical anesthetic and put on this wound and she won't be so sensitive right there. Okay, and the way we do our bucket here is we put a brand new plastic trash liner in the bucket first. Start with a clean bucket just in case, but then we put that liner because it's very, very clean, brand new out of the bag. And then we'll put some cotton that we want, cotton pieces in there, and then we'll put clean warm water in there and just our soap container that we're using. Now I'll go ahead down here and I'll kind of re-clean this foot. It still looks real good, but kind of re-clean the foot a little bit too. Some of these areas we can use either water or rubbing alcohol to rinse them away. Rubbing alcohol is a good disinfectant anyway, and it's a good way to rinse some of those areas, but not directly in the wound. So that looks pretty darn good. We definitely have that fluid coming, but we don't have a lot of swelling anywhere, and we don't have, she's walking normally as of now. So the next thing is trying to get it dry so that we can do a wrapping. And so here the cleanliness is a little bit, can be a little trickier. I tend to use paper towels that came right out of a plastic bag, if they were in a plastic bag, so they're real clean. Yeah. And then I just hold them with my gloved hands, and then I'll use them to pat this and dry it. And I try to do the same thing. I go from the wound and away. I never go from the dirtier areas toward the wound. And then we'll get that whole foot gently pretty dry. These plastic totes like we're using here are great. If you have 2 or 3 of them, they can put things in and keep them organized, and it keeps them clean and off the floor. And okay, and go away once again. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, now Tori, you're going to have to get bandage materials ready, and then we'll start again.